Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. So on my last video, which got quite a few attention, I think it's like in one day about 16,000 views and still growing. There was a lot of comments that came up about safety in Kenya. So that's probably one of the most common questions that I saw in the comments, in particular about Nairobi, because I have not been to Mombasa yet. That'll be soon, and then I can talk about that as well. Some people say it's dangerous here in Nairobi, others say it's fine. And then you got the comments online acting like you'll get robbed, kidnapped, or sick the second you land. So in this video, I'm going to give you the real travel reality of Nairobi. Crime, scams, and health, which includes HIV, which seemed to be pretty common in the questions in the last video. So I'm going to try to do it without any kind of fear mongering, but at the same time also without sugarcoating anything. This is based on my own experiences, not headlines or internet panic. So stick around for today's video. Same four walls, same fading year. Got these plans stuck in my head. Southeast Asia calling me instead. Bangkok nights in Bali shores. Sick of dreaming, want something more. All right, first let's be clear about something. Kenya is not Europe. It's not Japan. It's also not a war zone. Nairobi is a major African capital city with modern neighborhoods, malls, restaurants, and tech hubs. And then it's also right next to areas that you probably shouldn't wander into. Now, if you understand that balance, Kenya can be a great experience. If you ignore it, well, that's when people tend to get into trouble. It's really no different than when I lived in the Philippines. The Philippines, I never really felt unsafe, but there's certainly some areas that I wouldn't walk into at nighttime. And the same goes here in Kenya. So the first thing I want to talk about is crime in Nairobi. What exactly is the reality? Most crime affecting Nairobi is non-violent crime. This is the crime you need to worry about. It has been repeated over and over to me by literally every Kenyan who sees that you have a nice phone. And that is, do not walk outside holding your expensive phone, just walking on the sidewalk, because somebody on a motorbike is going to come up and snatch it and ride off into the sunset. And that is the reality. So you have to be aware of your surroundings when you have your phone out. You either look real quick, stick it back in your pocket, zip up, or do what I have, a pack-safe travel sling bag that locks, or don't pull it out at all. And so it's not a violent crime, but it happens to Kenyans as well. And Kenyans will be the first to tell you, don't walk around with your phone out of your pocket. And so that's probably really like the major thing that you got to worry about here. Pickpocketing, phone snatching, bag grabs, basically opportunistic theft. You know, if there's an opportunity for theft, they probably will take it, including sunglasses or whatever. So it is a good idea not to wear any expensive jewelry. I mean, I've got a $3 little Kenyan bracelet. I don't wear my normal gold chain that I normally wear. And I do have a Apple Watch. You know, I'll take that chance. I don't think anybody's going to rip a watch off of you. What they're looking for is something they can grab and take off, like a purse or a backpack or a phone that you're holding in your hand, or a camera, which is why I have decided to mainly do my videos indoors, but then take B-roll footage with my phone later on to show you guys. Now, violent crime, it does exist, but tourists are rarely the target unless they're careless. So for me, it kind of comes down to high-risk behaviors, not really places. So I would say the biggest risk factor isn't the city, it's the behavior. So the most common mistakes that I see and hear about: walking at night alone. That's a big no-no. Using your phone openly on the street, wearing expensive watches or jewelry, wandering around unfamiliar neighborhoods. Really, in Kenya, you should stick to places like Kilimani, Westlands, Karen. There are some others as well. Getting drunk and losing awareness. If you do those things, then Nairobi will punish you. But again, the safer areas for travels, and I will mark them down on the screen here in case you're wanting to come out and stay, like this place here is in the area called Kilimani. So you got Westlands, Kilimani, Lavington, Karen, parts of Upper Hill. Those are pretty much the areas that you should really, if you're going to reside or even stay in a hotel. And during the day, you're safe to walk. Just don't pull your phone out. Don't worry about a bunch of expensive stuff. You'll be more than fine. I've already walked around. I've went to a local market to buy a hoodie, and there was no foreigners. It was all Kenyans on these little shops along the street, and hey, no problem. So those places I mentioned are relatively safe, especially during the day and early evening, as long as you use common sense. And I think that really goes with almost anywhere you travel, including the United States. There's a lot of places in the United States I wouldn't step into even during the daytime. And the second thing I want to talk about is scams that you need to know. And the most common ones are actually pretty simple. Taxi scams. Unofficial taxis overcharging. Drivers claiming your destination is closed. Fake ride-hailing drivers trying to wave you over. Hey, where are you going? You need a ride? Stick to Uber and Bolt. And Uber is probably the preferred one. And you can connect your card, in my case, I connected my PayPal, so I never have to deal with cash. Pay them, boom, I'm done. I don't need to carry a lot of cash with me in Kenya. But if you stick to Uber and Bolt, period, you'll be fine. You gotta watch out for street help scams. Someone helping you cross the street. I not at that point in my life where I need somebody to help me cross the street, but if you are like that. Offering directions and then demanding money. Stick to asking mall staff like security guards and things like that, questions like that. Distracting you while another person steals. Again, I highly recommend my PackSafe sling bag. All locks up, cross, wear it in front, everything's locked. They can't snatch it and they can't cut into it as well. So I do highly recommend this. It's on my website, gioonthego.com. Click on Gio's Travel Essentials for all the gear I recommend for traveling or living anywhere in the world, really, to be honest, but in particular, warmer climates. And really the solution to this is just be polite, but be firm and keep moving. Don't stop and engage, just keep moving. And you're going to get some beggars as well. To be honest, the Philippines was getting more aggressive, much more aggressive than here. Here they might come up and ask you, but in the Philippines, the bajau, they would be grabbing on my pockets and stuff, and that walking into the ATM booths with you, just really invasive, and the security did nothing. But here, they just really ask you, and you just say, I'm sorry, I have no cash, just ignore them, and they move on. Usually happens outside of the malls. Now, police shakedowns, they're rare, but they do happen, and if you're, in Southeast Asia, those things happen as well. Asking for ID, claiming a minor violation, hinting at a fine on the spot, and basically stay calm, respectful, and don't argue and never escalate. Okay, now here's the part I got a lot of comments on in the comment section of my last video, and that is health and HIV. So let's get honest here. And I think one of the big mistakes is that everybody seems to group Africa all together. Listen, that's a huge continent with 53 countries. We're talking Kenya in particular, so that's what I'm going to talk about. Yes, Kenya has a higher HIV rate than Western countries. That's a fact. I don't think anybody will argue that. HIV reality for travelers, though, HIV is not a casual contact risk. You don't get it from restaurants, handshakes, transportation, hotels. I mean, people should know this by now. That stuff it doesn't happen. The risk comes from unprotected sex. If you meet a Kenyan girl and you like, you're going to use protection. I mean, just like you would in any country. I don't know why you would take the risk otherwise. And if you don't, and you want to enter into a relationship with that girl, you can go down to the pharmacy and get a home kit, test each other right in the privacy of your own home together. You're both negative, and then you're free to do whatever you want. Or you can go down to a clinic and get a full battery of tests for very inexpensive. And, then you're fine. It doesn't have to be, I don't know why people make such a big deal out of it. As long as you're not going around having sex with every Kenyan girl unprotected, then you're going to be fine. But again, it comes from unprotected sex, multiple partners, alcohol-fueled bad decisions, right? The uncomfortable truth is if you're sleeping around, ignoring protection, and assuming it won't happen to you, and that's going to be risky anywhere in the world, right? Not just Kenya. So the smart approach, like I mentioned earlier, if you're dating or intimate with someone, use protection, get tested either at a clinic or buy a home kit. Don't rush into anything and avoid transactional situations. And if you're going into that, that's risky again anywhere in the world. And if you do those things, then your risk is going to drop dramatically. And listen, Kenyans are very much aware of HIV too, and they are also very cautious. They're not going to just jump into wanting unprotected sex as well. So if you get into a relationship with a Kenyan girl, guess what? She's probably, before even you mention it, is going to say, listen, if you want unprotected sex, we need to go take a test. They're very well educated in that manner. Okay, so moving on, I'm not going to get into numbers and all of that kind of stuff. You guys can look it up yourself and figure things out. How to stay safe in Nairobi. Some simple rules that will work. And if you follow those rules, then that's going to eliminate 90% of your problems. Don't walk at night. Take your Uber and your Bolt and you're fine. I've been doing that the first trip when I was out here 3 weeks. I've been out here about 3 weeks now. I've been doing the same thing. There's no issues. There's a big expat community here, believe it or not, a big one, and they have zero issues too because they follow these simple rules. Again, use Uber and Bolt, don't walk at night, keep your phone discreet, dress low key. I'm not dressing up here. In Bangkok, I dressed up a little nicer, but here I don't. Stay in the good neighborhoods, the ones I mentioned earlier. Trust your instincts. It isn't paranoia, it's just smart travel in my opinion. So listen, mindset matters, and if you follow these, Nairobi is going to reward you big time. Awareness, confidence, respect, and it's going to punish arrogance, carelessness, and by being naive. So the final verdict, in my opinion, is Kenya safe? Kenya and Nairobi specifically is safe enough for smart travelers and dangerous for careless ones. And again, this could be said for any place in the world, right? If you're responsible, aware, and respectful, you can have an amazing experience here. And I've had an amazing experience, and I'm going to continue to have an amazing experience with dating, with traveling, with the nature, with everything. In fact, this Sunday, I'm meeting up with a viewer of all things. You know, who knew I would have a viewer in Nairobi, but I've had a few reach out to me. And one wants to meet up, and they all play pickleball. Now, I've never played pickleball, but I will join and try to learn the game. And this group of expats play at the Two Rivers Mall on Wednesdays and Sundays. They have pickleball. Great way to meet other expats and stuff. But again, Nairobi can be fantastic, guys. Kenya can be fantastic. But if you treat it like Disney World, you're going to be rolling the dice. So guys, if you want more real talk about safety, travel, dating, and living abroad, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, click the bell notification so you're notified every time I come out with a new video. And if you're planning a trip and you want personal guidance either to Southeast Asia, Kenya, check the links below for my consultations and travel resources. And I will see you guys in the next one. Ciao.
Got these plans stuck in my head. Southeast Asia calling me instead. Bangkok nights and Bali shores. Sick of dreaming, want something more. Pack your bags, don't hesitate. Gio, let's go before it's too late. Time keeps slipping away from us. Keep living like this.